The day was warm and clear, with the kind of golden light that made the streets of the town shimmer with a soft glow. Shoppers wandered from store to store, some with bags tugging at their wrists, others with the easy leisure of those just browsing. Among them walked Clara, 24 years old, her long brown hair swaying against her back with each step. Her hair had always been her pride. She took exquisite care of it. Hydrating masks every weekend, salon trims every 6 weeks, the finest brushes lined up like soldiers on her vanity table. It wasn't just hair. It was part of her identity. Clara often thought her hair was like a personal shield, a frame for her face that gave her confidence. When she looked in the mirror, she admired the way the chestnut brown strands caught the light. Hints of copper here, rich chocolate there. She loved how it felt when she pulled it into a ponytail, how it bounced when she wore it loose, how friends always said things like, "Your hair looks like it belongs in a commercial." Shopping days were her rituals. Sometimes with friends, sometimes alone, she wandered through boutiques and bookstores, savoring the rhythm of being in town. Today, she had come alone. Her tote bag was light on her shoulder. She'd bought only a candle so far, its glass jar tucked away and clinking faintly with her movements. As she strolled past a row of storefronts, Clara noticed a woman standing just outside a salon. The woman looked poised, stylish, her own hair cropped in a sharp, chic cut that suggested she was no stranger to bold choices. She caught Clara's eye with a kind of practiced ease, then stepped forward with a smile that was both warm and mischievous. "Excuse me," the woman said. "Do you have a minute?" Clara slowed, slightly cautious. Sure?" The woman extended a hand. "I'm Elise. I'm a hairdresser here at Maison de Coiffure." She gestured toward the salon, which had a large window where warm light spilled out onto the sidewalk. "We're looking for models for a makeover project today. It's completely free. Would you be interested?" Clara blinked, caught off guard. A free makeover? The word makeover tickled something in her chest. Curiosity mingled with hesitation. She glanced at the salon window, where she could see chairs, mirrors, the faint glint of scissors. "Free?" she asked carefully. "Absolutely free," Elise assured her. "We're experimenting with some new looks, documenting them for our portfolio, and you'd be perfect." Clara laughed lightly. "Perfect for what?" "For transformation," Elise said with a twinkle in her eye. "You've got such gorgeous hair. So much potential." Clara touched a hand self-consciously to her long brown locks. She had never considered herself the type to make impulsive changes. But the allure of being chosen, of being noticed, singled out, sparked something she couldn't ignore. Still, she hesitated. "I don't know. I mean, I wasn't planning on doing anything today." "That's the best time," Elise countered. "No planning, no overthinking. Just you, me, and possibility." The words hung in the air like a dare. Clara felt her heart quicken. She thought of her careful hair care routines, of how protective she'd always been. Maybe it would feel good to let go. Just once. "All right," she heard herself say. "Why not?" Elise's smile widened. "Excellent choice. Follow me." The bell over the door chimed as Clara followed Elise inside. The salon smelled faintly of shampoo, citrus, and warm air from the dryers. Mirrors lined the walls, reflecting rows of chairs and bright lights overhead. The sound of scissors snipping and hair dryers humming filled the air. Yet, despite the activity, Clara felt as though the moment was carved out just for her. "Come, sit," Elise said, guiding her toward the back. Instead of one of the modern swivel chairs near the window, Elise led her to an older, heavy-looking barber's chair tucked a little further inside. It had thick leather armrests polished from years of use and a sturdy footrest that gleamed under the lights. Clara sat down slowly, the chair creaking under her weight. She leaned back, lifting her feet onto the rest, and laughed nervously. "I feel like I'm about to do something reckless," she admitted. Elise grinned. "The best kind of reckless. Trust me, you'll love it." Clara's heart drummed in her chest. She shifted, letting her long hair spill over the back of the chair. Elise's hands were gentle as she arranged it, combing her fingers through the strands. "You've really taken good care of it," Elise remarked, her tone professional but admiring. "Shiny, healthy, strong. How long have you been growing it?" "Years," Clara said. "I trim it, of course, but I've never done anything drastic." Elise tilted her head, studying her. "Then maybe it's time." Clara's stomach fluttered. The word drastic sent a ripple through her. Half fear, half thrill. Elise reached for something hanging on a nearby rack. Clara watched as she unfolded a gleaming green PVC barber cape, the material thick and glossy, catching the overhead light in soft ripples. Elise draped it around her shoulders, fastening it snugly at the back of her neck. A white tissue strip was tucked beneath for comfort, sealing her in. The cape slid down her arms like a protective shield, covering her entirely, her long brown hair cascading over the shiny surface. Clara looked at herself in the mirror, swallowed by the deep green shine, her head just peeking out from above. She felt small, almost anonymous, like the cape had stripped away her usual identity and left her as a blank canvas. "Comfortable?" Elise asked. Clara nodded. "It feels different." "Good. That's the point." Elise wheeled the chair back toward the wash basin. Clara reclined, the PVC cape crackling faintly as she leaned. Warm water poured over her scalp, soaking her long brown strands. Elise massaged shampoo into the roots, her fingers firm yet soothing. Bubbles formed, sliding down the cape and dripping into the basin. Clara closed her eyes. "This feels too nice to be scary," she thought. She let herself enjoy it, the rhythmic massage, the scent of citrus and mint rising around her. When Elise rinsed and conditioned her hair, the locks clung damp and heavy to her back, plastered against the cape's smooth surface. Finally, Elise wrapped a towel briefly around her head, squeezing out excess water before letting the hair fall again. The wet strands gleamed darker, stretching down nearly to Clara's waist, stark against the green cape. Elise guided the chair upright once more. Clara sat, dripping slightly, her reflection staring back. For a moment, she looked like a child caught in a rainstorm, vulnerable yet oddly refreshed. "So," Elise began casually, combing through the wet locks, "what kind of makeover are you imagining? Shorter layers? A bob? Maybe some color?" Clara hesitated. She'd always dreamed of maybe trying highlights or cutting shoulder length, but nothing radical. She opened her mouth to suggest something safe, something reversible. But then Elise smiled knowingly. "You know, there's one option most people never consider, and I think it could be amazing on you." Clara raised her eyebrows. "What's that?" "Bald," Elise said softly, almost like it was a secret between them. "Completely smooth. It would bring out your features beautifully, and it would be the boldest transformation of all." Clara's breath caught. She stared in the mirror at her dripping brown hair glistening against the cape, at the thought of all of it gone. "Bald?" she whispered. Elise nodded. "Yes, imagine it. No hair to hide behind. Just you, radiant and fearless. And trust me, you'd look stunning. We'd photograph the whole thing. It would be unforgettable." Clara's heart raced. Part of her wanted to laugh and shake her head. Another part, a daring, buried part, leaned forward at the idea. "I don't know if I could," she began. "You can," Elise interrupted gently, "and you might just love it." Clara stared at her reflection for a long moment. She imagined her long brown hair falling in heaps, the vibration of clippers against her scalp, the shock of seeing herself bare. She imagined the freedom of it. Nothing to wash, nothing to style, nothing to weigh her down. Her throat tightened. Her hands trembled beneath the cape. She thought of all the years she'd spent protecting her hair, how it had been her pride. And suddenly, she wanted to know what it felt like to let it go. She lifted her chin. "All right," she said, surprising herself. "Do it." Elise's smile was radiant. "Good girl." Clara laughed nervously. "I can't believe I just agreed to this." "You'll thank yourself," Elise promised, already reaching for her tools. The cape shone under the lights as Elise picked up a pair of scissors. "We'll start by cutting it down," she explained. Clara closed her eyes as the first shk of blades sliced through her wet hair. A heavy lock slid down the cape, landing in her lap with a damp thud. Another followed, then another. Soon, strands were piling up, sliding over the green surface toward the floor. Clara opened her eyes and gasped. Her reflection looked foreign already. Long chunks missing, jagged pieces framing her face. She laughed breathlessly. "Oh my God." Elise grinned. No turning back now. Then came the clippers. Elise clicked them on, and they hummed to life with a deep, thrilling buzz. She brought them to Clara's temple and pressed. The vibration coursed through Clara's skull as the machine carved a path straight back, leaving behind pale, bare skin where once thick brown hair had been. Clara shivered. "That feels wow." Lock after lock tumbled, sliding down the cape in rivers of brown. The clippers moved steadily, methodically. Sides, crown, nape. Clara watched in shock as her head emerged, bare and gleaming under the lights. She laughed, loud and free. "I'm actually bald. Look at me." Elise guided her head gently, finishing every section until not a strand remained. Then she smoothed shaving foam across the faint stubble and brought out a razor. The scrape was slow, deliberate and intimate, leaving her scalp silky and flawless. When it was done, Clara stared into the mirror, her green PVC cape still glistening, her lap covered in fallen hair, her head shining smooth and new. She burst into laughter, unable to contain it. "I love it," she exclaimed. Elise clapped her hands. "I knew you would." A camera appeared and the flashes began. Clara posed, laughing, the green cape reflecting in the lights. She tilted her bald head this way and that, showing off the gleam, the smoothness, the daring of it all. Each click captured her transformation, from nervous to radiant, from hesitant to triumphant. She felt lighter, freer than she ever had. The cape no longer felt like a restraint. It felt like a throne, and she was the queen of this wild decision. When the session ended, Clara stood, running her hands over her scalp again and again, still laughing. "I can't believe I actually did this." Elise smiled. "Believe it, and enjoy every second.